Okay. Hi. This is like my first video ever. And if you happen to know my username from other places, congratulations. This is the sound of your nightmares. I freaking. Oh my gosh, I never recorded anything before. This is a sketch session, I guess. And I guess today's subject is whatever comes to mind. So here we go, party people. Um, but I did have something in mind, and just a warning, my version of Photoshop is janky. Um, coattails. Let me tell you about our Lord and Savior coattails, but because I'd be thinking about fashion sometimes. I'm not a fashionable person, so take this with a grain of salt. But I feel like guys get the shit. Wait, there might be kids watching. I feel like guys get screwed over in the fashion realm, especially with like fanciful costumes and all that. Especially in formal settings, because like when you see like historical outfits, like in the my personal favorite era is the 18th century. You get all these beautiful coattails and vests and waistcoats and all of that, and guys were like have embroidery and bows and all of that. Not too many because if you don't want to be gay, apparently. But it looks so cool. It looks so pretty. And then the French Revolution happened and Beau Brummel and everything just became mostly solid colors and dark colors. It's just thanks a lot, Beau Brummel. And how does this lead to coattails? Just hang with me. Just hang with me. Um, I think it's like let me just show you an example. I think that it is unused territory. Coattails are freaking awesome. And I saw this short by this company named Goblins. Goblins is a French animated short. And ever since I have seen that short, my life has known no peace. Because they imagined basically guys wearing tailcoats as birds. And the barn swallows, especially barn swallows with the dark overcoat, as if you can see. I'm emoting with my hands, that's why I'm stopping. But if you notice, like their dark uh, overcoat and then their white underbelly, and then you get like the twin tail things, and it really works. It really works, and it's like so much potential with that, and I love it. And I love it so much. To the point where I started designing my own bird suits, but that was like years ago, based off of like different birds and all that. And I think this will be an excellent way to make the male peacock look work for boys, because it's always given to the girls. Like no, let the boys have the peacock, please. It's like the poster child of male indulgence in the animal kingdom. It's like so basically, I mean, not exactly what I had in mind, but like, you get the drift. It's like, okay, let's go, make it stop sketching in circles, but like, we could go really crazy with it, like, just really crazy and all of that, and then you could just like, wait. What if, okay, why two, if you can have three? I mean, I know the point of the tailcoat being split is so that it'll allow seating, but when you have money, I mean, see stuff that rich people spending money on. It's just stupid stuff. Because honestly, when you have that kind of money, you can just do what you want. And the cool thing about fashion, like, yes, yes. But I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. I'm getting excited. But yeah, and the cool thing about fashion is that it could influence the world around it. So, like, let's say that you have this sick three tailcoat, and the chairs just don't fit. The chairs just don't fit. Like, no, we only have two tailcoat. Like, no, you have to split. That's the rules. Frick the rules. I'm going to build a chair, spilt, gosh. Built specifically for my three-piece tailcoat. And I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. And we're just going to have a chair like this. Just all kinds of furniture to support my three-piece tailcoat. Oh, what's this? A couch with no gap? Not in my world, because guess what? We're going to cut off huge chunks into the couch. Who needs integrity when we can indulge in fashion? Because that's how you got to think when you're in the fashion world. It's like, how can I show off my sick three-piece tailcoat and just, yeah, like who needs stuff to make sense? I'm trying to be fashionable here, and I want, and of course, you have to pose it just right so where everybody can see it. So like maybe we're gonna have it curl over here, and of course, the richer you are, the more exuberant you can get. I just like high colors. Let me actually try to make the rest of the coat. So it's plunging neckline. How shameless. I'm sorry if you can't see my scribbles. I refuse to use the zoom button for some reason. There we go. That's better for everybody. Don't hesitate to zoom. And also, by the way, if I start sniffing, I'm suffering from congestion, because why not? And there we go. And also, apologies if you can't hear me too well, because I do not have a mic. I'm going off of my computer and a prayer at this point. Snatched waist. In a moment, I am going to start talking about how the late Victorian, I forgot which decade. I'm pretty sure it was the 80s, the 1880s. But we're going to talk about how men's suits were the most shameless at that point. Because I kid you not, when men wore corsets, for those of you who don't know, men did in fact wear corsets briefly, I think. I think at that point, people started making fun of them, and it went out of practice after, what, like a couple of years? Because it was getting too feminine. It was a balancing act. Because there was this thing called the wasp waist. And everybody was just in love with it. And to the point where even guys can have it. But briefly, until the the parodies and all of that came in and started hounding my boys. Because even back then they realized, okay, we probably going too far. The only ones who got it worse was, I think, like the Rococo era, when they just completely clown on the macaronis, the incroyables, women's fashion with those giant skirts and tall powdery wigs. And don't even get me started with that awkward transitional period between Rococo and Regency, or where they tried to combine the wideness and eccentricity of the Rococo with the subtlety of the Regency, and they had full skirts at the Empire waist, and it looks like they were drowning in pudding or something. It was hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, we could go really zoomer. So like, let's say somebody had, like, I don't know, some kind of brass balls, or some kind of diamonds or something on the end over here, and it was just, obviously, the richer you are, the longer you could probably afford, because I'm rich. I don't have to work in the fields. Who cares if I can talk? Who cares if this gets dirty? I can just afford another one because I am rich. So yeah, let's see what else. Okay, so we already got the bling. So we got bling, and then we can have like, um, I don't have it with me now. I wish I did, but I actually had like a color pencil sketch showing like embroidery. Like for example, I swear I could draw much better than this. I just put the computer on, so I'm not really whatever. I don't go on here much. I need to, but so like let's say I had something like this. I had like a bow because of course everybody had bows back then, even the guys, in their hair and everything, and a tailcoat that was basically like this, and it had like flowers and stuff and all of that. So like, yeah, like there was brown. Hang on, let me get my reference. Reference. This is not a good look for me. This is my first video. Where is it? Oh, blood monkeys. Where is it? Because it's going to haunt me forever, and I want to know what it looks like. If I can figure out which book it is. I have a massive library in this room of sketchbooks and all of that. If it wasn't such terrible condition, I might show it. But then again, I'm also self-conscious, and don't want people crawling in my room, even on the internet. And oh man, this is gonna bother me. Oh wait, I don't know. What's this? Is this it? Is this it? No, of course not. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, people. Is this it? Yes. 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 Okay, I found it. Oh, it's prettier than I remembered. So, get all this. And I can't remember what this was based. I can't remember if I based it off of anything in general or if I was just experimenting, but it met up. It meets up like this. And it has like some kind of. This was actually based off of a character of mine, and he's supposed to be like this ugly kid, but this rich girl. I actually made a couple. I posted a couple pieces online. I have way more sketches. I don't post often, or at all, really, with my sketches. But basically, the story is this girl, and she's sick and tired of all the beautiful. She's like manga, like a manga girl, and she's sick of all the handsome shoujo men because at some point they all start looking the same to her, and she's getting bored, sick of looking at them. And then she comes across this boy named Noku. I just made it up, and he's like really ugly compared in like manga standards. Not Hollywood ugly, but like he has skin that's so dark that it's literally purple. He has his hair that's like oil slick. It's like pitch black, but it's got like shades of rainbow in it, like an oil slick. No idea what his family tree is like. I didn't even get to that point. He's adopted. A lot of my characters are. And she sees him and falls in love with him. But unfortunately for him, she's really awkward herself. She comes from like this gothic, eccentric family, and instead of having just a nosebleed, she ends up having like eye bleeds, coughing up blood and all that. It's like nosebleed times a million, and she ends up having these scary faces from time to time because she's just so overwhelmed with emotion and ends up scaring Noku because even though he himself looks like a goblin, I guess has very low tolerance for horror. So yeah, basically that's what one version of the tailcoat looks like. It looks more like a tail bib, but you get the gist. And yeah, that's like I have like a 99 million characters and ideas, and very few of them come to light because, well, I guess I just nervous. A lot of us are. I mostly do fan art because it's like the audience is already there, but it's nice to have your own ideas out though, even if they don't get a lot of attention. I got like a crud ton of ideas. Then I got all this nice embroidery and all of that. Let me see what the front looks like again. Oh, and the flowers that he has on the coat that I just drew, it was. Please tell me I wrote it. Please tell me I wrote it because I'm terrible with writing notes sometimes. Where are you? Come back to me. Gosh darn it. I remember at one point I was like obsessed with trying to like make interesting male fashion. I even snatched ideas from like female fashion to make it interesting. Uh, the front. I'm just going really loosely. It looks much better than I'm drawing. He has Black Star Gladiolus. That's what it is. But it's also got like other flowers like on his pants and all of that. Because back in the good old 1800s, men could have like embroidery and all of that, and it looked really good. I mean, they had embroidery later on. Like the Victorians, it was more concentrated to the vest waistcoat area, but with the 1800s, it could be like all over the outfit, and it was so pretty. Oh, it was so pretty. And then the French Revolution and Beau Brummel, curse you, Beau Brummel, when they had to make it all solid color for the most part. The only person I can think of that rock, like off the top of my head, that had like interesting suits that weren't solid color, and he was famous for that, was like John Candy, I think that's his name was. I think he was like some kind of sports announcer, and he looked cool. It will certainly stand out. And I know not all suits are black. I know they have like blue and brown and gray, mostly solid colors, but you'll never get like the fanciness of the 1800s. No wait, the fanciness of the 18th century. My bad. With all the embroidery and all that. There's some suits, some specialty suits, but usually it's for like rare special occasions and all of that, or costumes, or like the Met Gala and all of that. But it's fine enough, I guess. Yeah, it was pretty much something like this. It like pinches up the waist and it sweeps under, almost like a overskirt, I guess. And then in the back, you have like the tailcoat. And I love it. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. And I think I need more designs in here. Let me see. I actually also had an idea of like taking like what if we genuinely took female fashion but made it complement the male body? And because I feel like girls get so much in the fashion world where you can take straight up just steal men's fashion and apply it to females and it works. But with guys, it's like that. Like me personally, I'm not a fan of cross dressing explicitly. Like I like the idea of respecting the original body type. Me personally. I had another one in here. It was apricot and I didn't not really digging it. Oh yeah, and then you can have like these really long flowing coats too that I guess you could pass off as like overskirts and do something with that. But I mean, they had long coats all the way up until like the 1800s. But shoot, I'm really getting off of track here. I was supposed to do tailcoats. Oh well. And I guess you could do something with the split coat as well. I mean, it defeats the point of the split coat, but I just really like the idea of putting something in the wedge. Like fanciness, because we're not here to be functional. We are here to show off our wealth and our ability to be completely nonsensical and useless. Because when you have money, who needs logic? I mean, have you seen the stuff that rich people buy? It's insane. There's freaking pizza with gold foil on it, and people, I think, eat it. And if they don't, they have enough money to waste it and use it as decoration. Some of the most gaudiest looking things ever. I think it came with like black caviar and everything. it's almost like a parody. It's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just like I don't know. Okay, let me see if I can return to form with the tailcoat. Like I said, I have no idea what my volume sounds like. I don't see like anything. So let's see. What birds can we use? Who has an interest? We know that swallows are like the poster child of tailcoats for like birdie-looking tailcoats. But who else? And the peacocks too. Peacocks too. You know what? Let's try peacocks. Let's like seriously try peacocks. Because I could just imagine like having this ball with this style of dress and like a male Cinderella version, and the girl is like, wow, he's handsome. Look at all his money he can spend because he's got a wait. Idea. Split, but it's made up of threes, so it's still technically split. Like do you? I hope you guys have an idea what I'm trying to do here. So it's split, but it's like threes, and then maybe we could add some extra crap here. Like shoot, how would this work? Would it just be like mini tailcoats? I think. Like you have the main thing here, and then it's like pronged almost. So it's like frayed almost. And maybe you could put some extra stuff in between. Because we are going into pure opulence and indulgence. We are embracing both the I think I'll make it right. 18th century and the 17th century before were just pure opulence and indulgence. Make all the peasants hate us. I wonder how this would work. Like maybe it could be pushed up, like, or maybe pushed to the side. Well, I don't know. I'm sure they'll build a unique piece of furniture just to cater to this, because again, when you're rich, you make the world cater to you instead of the other way around, because that's one of the joys of having ridiculous wealth. And of course, I would imagine that instead of buttons, because they would have buttons back here and like bows depending on the style of dress. Just getting the Kleenex. Depending on the style of dress, it was gonna be buttons or whatever. But of course, with our boy, Mr. Peacock, we don't have to have just normal buttons. We could have like full-on brooches, like brooches. We can have like, I don't know, opals or crystals or diamonds or something, and just of course a high collar. We need high collars. Everybody deserves high collars. Really make yourself feel self-important. And I'm sure following in the footsteps of like the Regency area, we have like the most bougie looking cravats pinned with another gem or whatever. Because the sad thing about the Victorian era, I know like everybody loves to swang and all that, at least with the female end. Men really weren't supposed to wear that much jewelry. That was more like a woman's thing. At best, they could have like bits of metal, and that was it. They could not wear. It wouldn't be considered fashionable. They wouldn't wear gems and all of that unless it was like a very special sentimental item, I think. Because of course, I looked up etiquette. Or like rare occasions, but like gems and all that, that was like in the realm of female. So if you had like something special from your mother that she gave you or whatever, or it was something from a lover, couldn't really wear it. I mean, depending on the situation, you couldn't really wear it without like standing out a lot, and everybody knows how brutal Victorian etiquette was. Yeah, let the mummy eaters dictate what's considered appropriate. Alright, that's a whole nother video in itself, how screwed up the Victorians were, because they ate mummies so much to the point where they changed the face of archaeology for the worst. because they just kept eating mummies. Because they went on some Highlander crap, thinking that, oh, I will ingest the strength of people who, this person, by eating their rotting carcass and grinding it into powder. And of course, Mummy Brown, where they used the remains into artist paint, and when the artists found out about it, they were like, yeah, no, this is messed up. At least most of them, I think. So yeah, the people who thought that religion was beneath them and they were enlightened and all of that, thought that they could digest the bodies of rotting people who were hundreds of years old. And this practice wasn't unique to them. It went as far as medieval times. So wrap your head around that. Just one of the really dumb ways the Enlightenment dumbed everything down. So anyway, we got embroidery on this cuff. Obviously embroidery of some kind up here on the collar. And this fabulous looking peacock tailcoat. Which obviously would have some kind of embroidery on it. So maybe embroidered eyes, like applique eyes, because that would be a missed opportunity to not have some applique over there. Like over here, I imagine most of this would be applique and embroidery and all of that, and just sewed directly on. Because, well, it depends on the fabric. Because you know, back then people had to do everything by hand, and it sounded like a nightmare. And this poor person up here has nothing. Let's give him something. Maybe a tailcoat that's like maybe? Because like I said, there's so much untapped potential. And I just hope whoever is watching this video will realize that there's so much we can do. Oh, there's so much we can do. Like, this could be a leaf. Oh, what if ocean? What if ocean? Ocean's 11. Okay. Obviously high collar because I just love high collar. And plus it could look like a scalloped seashell. Gosh, I wish I was better into sewing, seriously. I would make my own male costume just for the heck of it. Let's see. Do I have any examples in my sketchbook that I could follow? Please? Please, police? Not really, but I'm just going to cheat off of this one again. Now, oh wait. A cravat that looks like a conical seashell. Like a twist. And then it has a pearl. It has a pearl! Pearl stud. Pearl stud. Yes. Yes! Oh my gosh, I love this. And I guess this could look like this, like, I imagine this would be some kind of silk water ripples looking thing. Like, you know, like the ripples of the water. That'll be the lining. Look at me writing notes like I'm actually knowing what the heck I'm doing. Now, going on now. And I don't care what anybody says, I just love long coats. Because there's so much you can do with coats. I remember there's this one guy on YouTube who asked, should capes come back for guys? Because mind you, capes have been popular forever. And they've been around for long, and they're just handy. Coats are handy. And there's so many, so many people say no because it looks gay. Are you serious? Batman, Superman, all of that, they're gay just because they have capes. Capes are epic. Like a stereotypical image of a knight fighting a dragon, and his cape is just billowing in the wind behind him. Looks goddamn amazing. And plus, long garments, long hair, long stuff in general just looks more epic. It just looks more epic, especially when it catches in the wind. Now, how am I going to make this look? Because I was going for like a mermaid look, but it was like a merman, and I guess we could have like... Okay, so I guess the borders could stop at here, and then we just have like this... Because I'm thinking in whatever world this takes place in, wealth is shown by embroidery. Like, the embroidery, again, is a time-consuming task when done by hand. We're lucky nowadays because we have, like, automated machines who do it for us digitally and all of that. You can just upload the design to the screen and then bam. Shoot, my mama had that kind of technology for years by now. But back then everything was done by hand. And of course, regardless of gender or whatever, having gems and like especially pearls, which take years to develop properly and refine, you want to show it off, because like that's how it was for the longest time. Like King Henry VIII, curse him to his death, had like bougie necklaces and furs and all that, and it's just funny how stuff like that is considered gay and like unmanly these days. But back then, that was like the height of manliness and wealth. It just goes to show you how funny things change over time, how humorous it is. And I don't know, I guess more over here. So like this guy, probably from a wealthy seaside family, or maybe it's an event, wants to show off his wealth. So he has this long flowing garment that's just weighed down by all of this embroidery and pearls. So you got the big pearl, and you got all these pearls meshed in with your embroidery, because his family is wealthy enough to have all of those pearls and have all that heavy embroidery done by paid people because they can afford it. And it's, again, not the most practical garment, so this will obviously be for a ball of sorts, like a special event showing off of what his family can afford to buy. Because you have to realize that fashion, for the most point, is a what's the word? Not bougie, but it's mostly to impress other people. Yeah, it's also to feel good about yourself, not denying that. But for the most part, it's about impressing others. It's a part of looking good in front of others. Now, what people do in the name of fashion is a whole different thing. That's a whole other can of worms. But for the most part, it's looking good, and it's very much a social aspect. And the richer you are, the more important it takes precedence. It takes more and more precedence to important you are. The richer you are. So let's see. Again, staying in the 18th century, because in my opinion, that was the most fun era. There's this guy who actually specializes in what is his name? Hang on, I'm gonna pull it up in another window. Oh, his name is something tailoring. Probably has no idea who I am. Obviously, no idea who I am. But I love his videos. He was hilarious. And he was called Pin. If I know how to use editing software. What was his name? Well, while that's loading, something tailoring, and he actually did a collab with some other Morgan Donner. Was it Morgan Donner? Or was it Rebecca Maxey? One of those women, probably somebody completely different, and he was they were roasting his quote unquote historical costumes, and he was talking about how trash this one costume was. But yeah, he specializes in 18th century men's costumes, and he made this gorgeous Hungarian inspired impossible pants with beautiful blue embroidery, and it was gorgeous. It was really, really nice. I admire his skills and his love of that era. I think he's brave for showcasing his love for Vincent. That's his name, Vincent. Vincent. Oh, darn it! There we go. This is him. Look at it. Look at that swag. Look at it. Look at this embroidery. I missed this. As if I was there. This was this video. But anyway, you can go see it. But like, oh, it's nice. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Gosh darn it, I love embroidery. Even his sling has swag. But yes, I hope you all understand by now what I mean. So like, this guy over here will obviously have way more. Obviously not too much, because you don't want to look stupid. It's like a constant balancing act. It's like you want to show that you have wealth, but you don't want to go too far, or where you look like a try-hard. Like, because we all know those people who try way too hard to be fashionable, and they just end up looking like clowns. Actually, wait, come to think of it, roll this back up, because I think he, like, there was that, like, right here. See, like, even back then, people knew this parody right here of how stupid the fashion could be back then with those huge powdered wigs that were kept together with pig fat and lard. But yeah, as a balancing act, like maybe in some circles, this guy I'm working on, he'd be considered just a bit too much. Like maybe he's an impressionable youth and he doesn't know what he's doing. Maybe his family really wants to try hard, even though it's probably too hard. But yeah, because everybody loves an epic coat. I mean, even in anime, everybody wearing trench coats like they're going to the mob. And of course, you know, I like that. I like this. We probably need to use more of this to mimic ocean waves and all that. Now, of course, headwear will probably be out of it because girls pretty much dominate the headwear. I do not know how to make a masculine-looking headwear except for like an outright hat. But you wouldn't wear that inside. I guess the closest you could get, again, because of the wonderfulness of the 18th century, you probably have something tying your hair back, because you know men in those days wore ponytails. So, again, I'm cheating off of you again, Pinsent. You have no idea who the hell I am. So, okay, yeah, he could have a hat, but you really wouldn't wear those inside, because I'm pretty sure that would be considered rude and weird. So, going off of that, now within, so like, let's say, somehow this makes it, is it me or does this actually make it look more masculine in my opinion because of the stereotypical ponytails? He would probably have just one tiny, because you don't want, because the, in my opinion, the reason why people go off of like gendered clothes so much is because keeping the difference between women and men respectively. So that's why you want to have a balance, because you don't want to end up looking too much like a women, like men back then and still today are concerned with. I mean, like, yeah, I have cool fashion, all that, but I think that's the key, is just keeping them distinct enough. And I personally like that, because men and women are different. So let's find ways to respect that, but also make fun. Both of them are unique and special and cool in their own ways. So let's like find ways to make this work. Oh, I just had an idea. Brain blast. So like maybe, what the heck are those things called? You see them in hair sometimes, where you like you have like a braid and then you have like this cuff. I think it's just called a hair cuff, and they have like some kind of thing like that. He could probably have something like this. Or shoot, just an outright braid. I don't know if guys would braid their hair back then, but they do in this offshoot fantasy. And there we go. So it like ties in with the 1800s metal brass guy thing, but also still looks really nice. And they can act, and since it's such a small piece, you could put like designs and all of that or whatever. And I personally love like this thick cuff look, because there's so much ground you could cover. So much ground you could cover. And again, going off of this one, it kind of almost have like a pleated look. I'm running out of space. I did not plan any of this. That's why I'm rambling on like every topic known to man. I don't even know how long I've been recording. Don't know how much I'll cut out. Probably none. Heck, this video probably won't even get seen. Whatever. I'm just freebasing it right now. So like, because this was an actual coat. Let me see. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. 1880s. Or was it? You know what? I'm just gonna put mid-Victorian. I'm pretty sure it was mid-Victorian, because I don't think the silhouette lasted that long. It almost looked kind of skirtish. There's my tailcoats. Gosh, I love that. The problem is when you type in Victorian, you get all those costume shops. But basically, I have this, like this. So yeah, that kind of style. Notice how curvy it looks. The Chesterfield coat. Oh, so that's the name of it. See, you learn something every day. And then you have this one. See, and I also like this look, like this kind of cut off look, and then it just like flounders out. Don't know what the proper term for that is called. Well, that's Amazon. But you get the. I don't think it's Amazon, but you get the gist. Like this lovely embroidery matches in with the waistcoat. You even see it on the bottom of the pants, and I'm pretty sure it's on along the sides, and it's just so nice. Oh, it's so nice. And not all of them had to have like light. And also, yeah, some of them were light, but not all of them. They could be dark. It just depends on the customer and the time of the fashion, I guess. And I'm pretty sure this is like a hussar Hungarian style. I usually see it in Hungarian. And then there's this one, which is simple. And I better stop now because I'm going to go off on a tangent. So basically, so let's type in Chesterfield coat. That did not help at all. Oh, here comes the fun part. And again, I apologize if I'm like all over the place. Again, I'm not used to this. This is like the first video ever I'm ever gonna upload seriously to YouTube. I'm gonna try looking for it a little bit longer, and then that's gonna be it. But yeah, basically this kind of code. If I click on it, it's gonna bring me to Pinterest, and it's not gonna help me at all. Sometimes, tip, if you're looking for a specific era, do it by decades. Don't try to type it in era like Victorian like I just did, because it's not gonna help you. But so yeah, it's almost like, because the cinched waist, the big, huge emphasis on the chest. If you think about it, this look kind of coquettish. Those in the audience probably know what I'm implying. It was like the neck. that's probably gonna be a different segment, maybe a different video. But I'm gonna get into that. So yeah, let's throw in the that in there. Like me personally, I like cartoonish emphasis on the male chest area like this. It's like it's called barrel chested. I know it's like an exaggeration. I see it in cartoons all the time. I don't know why. This is the fun shape to work with. And then the waistcoat, not the shirt, will have like a plunging neckline like this. The rest of it, it's weird. It's like giving the idea of male cleavage without actually showing cleavage. It's a strange paradox. But anyway, going back to that scallop look, because this was, hang on, oh jeez, I drew the waistcoat, but I didn't leave room for the jacket. Ugh. So let's have that. And sometimes we tied out by like one button. But I like the sort of scalloped, pleated look that one was giving off. Have no idea if this would fly in the real realm, but again, we're already way past the realm of realism here, so let's just go for it. And what would the sleeves look like? I think it was just like normal sleeves. They're kind of blockish. I mean, this guy's rocking some checkered print. The Victorians abused checkered print, by the way. Like, mid-Victorians, I think, mostly, abused the heck out of it. But for me, let's see. Could we get away with Squiggly, just a little bit of squiggly. Like maybe a more evening wear, subtle formal wear kind of look. Just like the day with the boys or a day with your girl. Feeling cute, not that cute. And then finish it off with like squarish sleeves. I have a tendency to taper mine all the time. I need to break out of that. And just a tiny bit of a puff. Just to imply a seam, just a tiny bit. What are the lapels? I kind of like that. It's like, again, it gives the feeling of exposing oneself without doing it. It's like a paradox. It's amazing. Because I will say the beauty of Victorian men fashion at that point is like finding like it was there to some degree, not like the other eras that I like, but it was more subtle and concentrated. And I guess it was easier on the eyes depending on it because Rococo was all about going off. It's one of the reasons why they killed everybody. They were ticked off to see what their money was being spent on. Yeah, it's just a little bit. It still got flair, and of course, again, most of the busyness and all that would be either tied to like subtle places like the lapels and the wrists. But with the waistcoat, you could go absolutely insane. You could just like do whatever the heck you want with the waistcoat. It's like finding a gem in the rough, and that's one thing. I personally like this scallop look. Probably would be considered just a bit too girly, but hey. Oh, and I forgot fancy ruffled undercuffs. Well, the one going back to this one. Oh, I already have a scalloped one in there. I gotta try to copy that over later, but this one I actually had like an interesting idea. It was not square. We're too hip to be square. It was split. It is split, and it had like this puff coming out. I can't remember if I based it off of anything, but it was split. And of course, there was like a lining, and it has some embroidery on it. I love it when people take into account how fashion works in the world instead of just like doing whatever. Because I think a lot of manga and manhwa and webtoons and all that suffer from just like doing whatever looks cool, which is fine. It's fine. But at the same time, I have a feeling that it makes it came with pockets because pockets, yes. Because at the same time, everything starts to look similar after a while because they're all that. And sometimes the fashion will contradict itself within the world. You'll have somebody who looks like they should be from the 18th century next to somebody from medieval era, next to somebody from modern to late Victorian, Edwardian era. And it's like, what year is it? But and I get it, you're trying to make your world look fancy and all that, but sometimes it's nice. That's why it's nice to see our artists put just a little bit more serious in it. That's why I like this webtoon called A Stepmother's Marching. And it's actually just straight up Victorian area, I think. Including all the silly men hairstyles, I think. And it actually looks good. I wish people would, who try to do quote unquote historical stuff would just let stuff be historical. I don't understand why you would dig up something from the Regency era and give everybody modern day clothes and hairstyles and silhouettes. I'm not even a fashion major, anywhere near a fashion major, and I know it looks awkward. Like, why? Why would you do this? Give the men those stupid hairstyles, like those curly hairstyles that look like they cut the ponytail off of the 18th century man in the Victorian era. And of course, no beards, even though beards were like the height of manliness back then, and it would be rarely did you see a guy without a beard, and of course, guys would all be clean shaven, like pansies. Oh well. Let them be bears! I don't I don't want no baby face dude in my Victorian fantasy fiction. Let him have a beard, at least some mutton chops. Everybody loves mutton chops. Um, oh my gosh. Just draw collars. Just draw collars. Oh, cufflinks. I can't believe I forgot cufflinks. And of course, why have one when you could have three? Because I think that was an actually legit thing. I was able with cufflinks. It was just like ornaments at that point. Like this guy. I think I'm gonna go for like a skewed tree. It will not be level. And of course, finish it off with like a fancy one. But this was a trip, wasn't it? this was a trip. But yeah, tailcoats. Tailcoats were awesome. Tailcoats. We were supposed to find birds at some point, but I completely lost the plot. Birds. I know. Oh, birds of paradise. Just came to mind. Birds of paradise. Oh, that's right. I forgot they got flowers that are actually named. Look at this. Yes. Yes. Oh shoot, wrong one. Beyond Pinsent. There we go. Wilson's Bird of Paradise. Because yeah, I forgot all the game that these people have. So like, oh, that could work. It'd be like combining the bib look of this with maybe some applique, some cord braiding. Okay. So yeah, okay, braiding. That could be interesting. So yeah, like so basically take the bib look, and then maybe have some kind of wired braiding. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let this be a lesson, kiddos. Never, ever, ever be afraid of just opening your goddamn references online. I don't know why I'm so allergic to that sometimes. It's like I try to do stuff off of memory, and of course it all goes to crap. Okay, so basically, okay, so maybe we could just return to original form, still having a semi look, and maybe where they usually have the buttons, we could have like stiff cording, something like that. And I don't know, maybe they could have like gems or something braided in it. So like if you're like, let's say that as fashion goes on, because at some point it reaches a height of where it gets super ridiculous. This happened with the Rococo period. It happened with like the 1860s, where those huge skirts, lots of embroidery, blah blah blah. It reaches a point, and then people would be like, okay, you know what, this is ridiculous. Let's tune it down. Maybe this could be this kind of period. So like after all the fanciness of this and this, people are like, okay, let's tone it down. Yeah, we've seen all we needed to see here. And the tailcoats get shorter and shorter, and instead of having like actual long build, they instead opt for something that's more detachable, like braiding, like a wire that's wrapped in like some kind of, I don't know, gold thread or something, and it have like gems or pearls or something woven in it. So you still have the exuberance and fanciness. It's just played more subtly. And then the cool thing is you can always like, you know, since it's wire, depending on how stiff it is and how tightly it's woven, you could just easily shape it into fancier shapes. So boom, say if you wanted the squiggliness of this design one day, and then maybe you want a curved look like that the other day, or a frayed look like that. You can. All you have to do is just reshape the thing, and then bam, and then it saves you money to buy on other expensive crap you don't need. Boom. See, that's the thing. See, that's the cool thing about just thinking things out just a little bit. You don't need to go hardcore JRL token with stuff. Just a little bit of thought can go a long, long way. So like same thing like this. Same thing like this. You have like this shorter actual functional tail, and then you have like the long excessiveness of it. I think at some point the birds they actually shed those at some point. Like they only come in during the breeding season, and then every other part of the day, I mean year, is just gone. Let's see. That actually kind of looks like one. Like yeah, like okay, okay, let's do that. Hang on. I got something. So, so we're gonna have a male version of those crinolines. That's what they were. That's what it was. Crinolines are where it just goes really weird. The only thing I can think of that was weird. It wasn't the 1860s were exuberant, but they weren't weird. But the 1840s, I think it was 1830s, 1840s, were actually genuinely weird with female wise. They kind of had some weird like hairstyles. Hang on, tangent. Come on for me. Like, I think it was 1847. To me, they were kind of weird. Was it 1840s or was it 1830s? 1840s was like the pioneer kind of like. I think it was 1830s. Yeah, it's like they were almost like childish because back then only little girls would really get away with showing their feet like that. Then you had these huge puffy sleeves, some interesting hairstyles that looked like it was just folded on top of itself a bunch of times, like this. It's not bad. I actually kind of like it. It's almost doll-like. It's just strange to me for some reason. But of course, poofy sleeves are awesome. You could never have enough poofy sleeves. Yeah, it's like it's poofy and then it's short at the same time, and then you got these interesting hairstyles and bonnets. But anyway, back to this. back to this. This is when it goes too much. I think this would be their crinoline version. If it's not, this will probably be their 1830s over here. Maybe this would be like their 1860s. Like okay, yeah, we need to stop. We need to stop. Why though? Like just. just I'm trying to figure out. Shoot, how am I gonna make this work? Actually, yeah, how would they make this? I imagine it would be like a detachable kind of situation of where it's just like pinned onto like a main body. I I just have this idea like a guy just like how the cliche shoujo villainess tropes or otome trope or where a villainess spills like wine on the heroine's dress. I imagine the guy equivalent of this would be like just ripping the tail, just like straight up ripping it off, like detailing a bird. I imagine that would lead to like a duel or something. But yeah, or maybe it's stiffened with wire. Like maybe you slip. I just realized I didn't save this time. Give me a moment. I just realized I did not save this. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I imagine this will probably have some kind of wire insert in order to keep it like that, or whalebone. Because of course, whalebone was popular at like the 1800s, and that's what women used to make their corsets and stays for the longest time. How would this even look on the side? Hang on, give me a moment here. I'm honestly trying to figure out the situation I'm in. So I imagine it would have like a normal base. and then it's just like pinned on. Which yeah, would actually make more sense fashion wise. Like I could see it naturally progressing from just having the tailcoat actually be built this way to just like cosmetic look. So like something that can easily removable. Heck, depending on how this works, you can pin it on this one and this one and blah 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 blah. Customization. I just did jazz hands. But yeah, as you can see, we went a long way from business. What else? What else can we add? Oh, I just realized something. One more thing. I'm getting a, I'm getting I'm getting inspiration. You know, like those hang on, something like this wispy look. Well, remember like tassels? We could probably get like a giant tassel, like the kind that you see on curtain. Stuff like this. So we could basically take this, enlarge it, and then put it on the guy on the back of the tailcoat. So like, oh yeah, then we have like a little bridge going on, and just like, so yeah, we got the brain bridge, and then it's attached to the bridge, and then it just kind of fizzles out. And again, it could be silver or gold braiding. Oh, and the benefit about this is that you could still technically do the split. Like again, like the split, which was like the whole point of a tailcoat. So you could actually split it. Yeah, and then it's like because it's like on a hinge, like this little dangly bit, you can actually probably maneuver it and move it. So it's not stuck in place. So like you can actually have some kind of maneuverability with it. Let's make this one square. I know the pointed one is popular, but let's make it square because why not? I like it. Yeah. I might turn this video in soon if I don't see another bird that I like that we can copy. If anybody knows any interesting birds we could copy and check out, but interesting tail feathers because that's like the main point. Let me know if anybody has any ideas. Oh, that looks sick. Shoot, that looks like antenna. Kilo Saxon. I mean, there's this one. Okay, okay, okay. Do I even have room? I might have to start a new layer. Frigate, new layer. I wish I knew how long I was recording. I have no idea. Because I have no indicator that tells me how long I've been recording. There's no number going off in the background. It's just I'll see it when I stop recording. But I don't think I was recording that long. Let me see. Can I see it? Nope. Well, I'm at the mercy. I'm at the mercy of this program. I don't even know how to stop recording. This seems like a design flaw. Oh well. Oh, yeah, hang on. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. I'm done when I'm done. Okay, back to this. Wait, let me make room for it. Oh, come on, navigator. There we go. And Of course, I could just take the image and put it in the actual program. But I'm lazy. Okay, so let's take this. I wonder if we could do something with the swan. I mean, they don't have tail feathers per se, but I wonder if we could incorporate the neck. Because the swans are known mostly for their necks. Maybe a cravat. Okay, wait, I got an idea. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so like this one. Okay, maybe it can mimic the bib look like at rest. It looks like it's all together. And we could have some like applique or something to mimic the feathers under here. And then we could have like, I don't know, some external lapels, some other applique, some other kind of dangly bits. And we could have this. That look nice. Put his hands on his hip because he knows he looks fabulous. And I actually like this right here. So we could make a neckline. So maybe he has like a black shirt. I know black shirts aren't the most popular thing, but hey, we're dealing with the world of Birdman. I think the real challenge might be the females. Because, you know, in the bird world, for most part, it's the opposite. The guys have all the flashy, fancy colors and all of that to impress the chicks, and the... No, that'd be pedophilia. No, to impress the hens and all of that. The girls are more plain and subtle because, you know, they have to actually watch the next generation, and being flashy is a good way to get everybody killed. So he like have a black shirt and a blue. I think that's blue, bluish waistcoat or vest. I don't know why I like the idea of pinstripes on this one. I imagine like a geometric look for this. So like that. But okay, now going back to that cravat that I had an idea for the swan, because you know swan neck was a popular thing for a while, like long necks. I think they still are, but but and you know swans are famous for having like this nice curve. So let's say a guy wanted to emulate a swan through fashionable trickery. Maybe there could be like a curve. Well, you know, because the guy can only have so much neck. So let's say there's a guy with a short neck. Yeah, let's say he has a short neck, and fashion standards at the time have long necks as a symbol of beauty. Obviously, and I think a collar will probably make it look short because a higher collar makes it look like your head is on your shoulders, in my opinion. So, or at least I want to emulate those because I think a cravat had the same thing. No. Okay, let's say there's a type of folded curve, and the cravat will run a bit longer than its natural resting place. So it'll almost be like a tie at that. I mean, again, I am not a fashion major in any way. I'm just trying to make interesting looks. So, and he would probably, because you know makeup was a thing, in order to like kind of match his skin tone to the cravat. So he probably would paint his face a little bit to match it, or maybe or if it was too dark, he would probably put some kind of paint or dye in the cravat itself to make it match his own skin tone. Anyway, and then of course curliness. Curliness. So it probably backfire on the guy. Well, maybe his hair could tie into it as well, and it looks like he has really long hair. But it's just an idea. So like a cravat, maybe it's a split cravat. I don't even know what you call it at that point. I'm sure it exists in some way, somewhere, because that's the beauty of real life. You can come up with some of the most back crap insane things ever, only to exist in some kind of way. I come up with stuff off the top of my head all the time. I look it up. Sure enough, it exists. So it almost looks like a high collar, but it's not. I imagine it'd be something. Let me see if I can draw a better diagram of it. So I imagine there'd be some kind of fastener right here to keep it from being undone as it splits. And then I don't know if there's a type of knot that you could use to. Hang on, I'm lost. Okay, no. I got it. Okay, so this part right here is fastened, and then maybe like a type of it'd be puffed out. Well, if it doesn't, yeah, this could also have a dual effect of where it makes him have look the appearance of a swan while also puffing out his chest, giving him the illusion of a puffed out broad chest. So I imagine like the garment of the cravat would look something like this. It'd be more Y shaped, maybe? I don't know. Fashion engineers get on it. So that. What else can we add? We already got the tailcoats. We got the cravat. We got some hair. We got like 1 or 2 hair accessories. What else? What other birds? Internet, give us beautiful birds. Oh yeah, blue jays. I remember. Oh, this is like stained glass almost. It reminds me of it. Okay, so there's that. I think that's a kingfisher. Gorgeous cobalt colors and ultramarine. Fun fact about ultramarine and all that, there was like this canvas painted in like the 1800s, I think. It was just literally a solid color. Now, when you see it from at first, you're like, what the heck? This is boring. But if you understand the history of it, it's interesting because colors like this didn't exist in the world up until then. Like ultramarine, I think it was, didn't exist. It was created synthetically, and that's why it was such like a clamor because it's like nobody had ever seen this kind of blue, at least not often, I think. And there it was, just right there. Oh, that's beautiful. So I imagine like in this era, cold ultramarine would be nice. Also, synthetic colors like bright green and fuchsia that also came around in the Victorian time will also be popular because bright dyes like that didn't really exist up until that point. Okay. Look at the parrots also have an interesting. Let's see. I imagine this would be for like some kind of. Oh, I do know the chest area because let's see. Again, back to the glorious chest. Have no idea how this would transfer into a suit. basically bird feathers are just popular. You know what? Shoot, just straight up bird feathers because they brutalized so many animals in the Victorian period. I guess we're in Victorian period now. That for the sake of fashion, I don't see why for hats they would tear off like whole wings, put whole birds on the hat, just to look cool. So I imagine they would have no problem with just straight up ripping off feathers and putting it on their own chest. So you'd have that. Yeah, actually, yeah. I was focused so much on building the likeness of birds, I completely ignored the idea of putting actual feathers on the costume. I imagine, yeah, You know what? Maybe this society was trying to like avoid what the Victorian counterparts were trying to do. Maybe the feathers are like that tassel that we just created. So maybe it's just a bunch of tassels together. I imagine it'd be hot, really heavy too, probably. But they're like, you know what? We don't want to kill birds. We actually like birds. That's why we're imitating them. Let's not use actual feathers. Let's just like come up with different ways. Because basically a feather is like this. You have like the main quill part, I guess. I don't know what the terminology is. And then you have all this extra stuff that gives us its fullness. Now, I imagine the quickest way to do it for a person is to get like strips of whale bone. Because let's screw the whales, I guess. Whale bone or maybe some type of metal wire that's painted for cheap. And then just put like, again, like maybe thread or embroidery thread of some kind and stiffen it and give the appearance of feathers. Now that would be probably time consuming and cost a lot of money, so that could also be a way of showing off how rich you are. It's like I can emulate birds without killing them, plus I get to show off how much money I have. So yeah, it's like I didn't. Wow, all of this was not scripted. I'm literally coming up with this real time. Painted wire, stiffened. And then you have like a whole ruffle of this. I imagine it'd be like some. It probably styled better than this, like maybe a cravat style. And then you like cover it all over your body. Well, not all over, because it'd be a fursuit at that point. Oh, but maybe you could have like a cape. Yeah, like a little shawl or something. Like, ah, uh, hang on. I do not know if there's a specific name for that coat. I have no idea how long I've been recording. This, basically like a shawl mixed with a coat. So I imagine maybe something like that. You have this like really luxurious silk, and then you have like the fake feathers on there. And the cool thing about painted feathers, you can paint them whatever color you want. So you can emulate a real life bird, or you could just go fancy as heck, and the colors will probably be more vibrant than any real animal could give, especially with all the unique dyes and pigmentation that was created. Nah, so like yeah, you have like this cool shawl coat basically. It just really, and of course, under that, you have your tail. Like, yeah, you probably have a tail under that because like this is what you come in when you're showing up fashionably late. Of course, it comes with a stud or a tie of some sort. Or maybe it'll be both. You can have like a shawl coat and like cravat looking thing. And then underneath all of that, you have this bomb tailcoat. If I can find the reference again, because Lord of Mercy, I lost it. There it is. Thank you. So like, and of course it's in bright red and blue, with tinges of green, Shields green, which was popular, although it was killing everybody. Cause darn it, if you spend the money you do on those fake feathers, you're gonna let everybody know. Maybe have some that go along the back and it ties to the front. So it's like this is maybe you'd have your hair styled like a bird's tail feather too. Instead of ponytails, you'd have bird tails, and you probably have some fake feathers in your hair at that point. Because again, you spent money on this. Everybody is going to look at you, whether they want to or not. Who cares if their eyes are bleeding from the gaudiness? They will look. You probably wouldn't even have to indulge in embroidery at that point because you'd be too busy at that point and you spend all your money on this tailcoat. Now, I imagine to mimic the one over here, they'd have really long ones over here. So, like, it'd be layered with different size feathers in order to emulate this macaw. It looks like a macaw. And then you have, like, your frills. Probably white to give the eyes really rough. White to give the eyes a break from all the bright red and all of that. I'd like to see a Cinderella story where the guy actually has a glow up. I really would. That's one of the reasons why I made this, why I came up with this stuff, because I would love to see a guy version of Cinderella and the girl is just floored by how handsome he looks. I want that. I want to see it. If I don't create it, please let somebody else do it. And maybe you have like the shortest of all be over here, because so like you'd probably be all along the back. And like all that. And I'm sure there's like a cool design you could probably do with it. I'm just like tossing stuff out there. You know, I just realized, what about dovetails? Because dovetails are also pretty popular. We have like a telltale wedge look. Okay, there's these. Alright, there's those, and then there's this one. I forgot about the pheasants. Basically, the peacock's long lost pen pal. So yeah, ever since I saw that goblin short, my mind associates tailcoats with birds, and I thank them for it. If I could figure out, oh my gosh, my cutout is staring at me. I did a self-portrait cutout and it's peeking from behind my bed and it's creeping me out. Anyway, but if I hopefully it's still up on YouTube, because this was years and years and years ago. If it's still up, I'll post a link in the description. Because this actually is kind of risque. So if there's children watching this, please be careful. We live in that kind of world nowadays. So, okay, judging from the length of this, I imagine this would have like a pretty stiff, squared off looking base tail coat. And then again with that wire. And then maybe like a fan, just straight up fans. Straight up fans. Just all because why not? Why not? Fashion doesn't have to make sense too much. Just straight up fans. Heck, if you're poor, you'll just probably take like a broom head and just put it on there. And again with that braiding, and then of course embroidery. So like maybe some nice, and again it'd probably be gems or some kind of metal beads. And it'd just be like buttoned on, pinned on, fastened on some kind of way. I love that blue. Oh, that's so beautiful. Alright. What is it? Now there are single tail coats. I don't know how well that would work. But I did have one idea. I did have one kind of idea. I think it could work. You just have to just make the furniture bow to your will. Make the furniture bow to your will. So like a single tail coat. And for maximum bouginess, because again, you can just have it layered. Just have it layered. And then like maybe each panel could have like something on it. So like say you want to mimic the look, but you don't want to have like two things to lug around. This could probably be another transitionary period. And then you could also have like that it's not braiding. I think it is braiding, whatever the individual strands of tassel, like on the side or maybe underneath. And if you're feeling flirty, you could just lift up the tail. Want to show the girls what you got. So, oh my gosh. Because yeah, I don't know how long they were around. But single tailcoats were a thing. I don't know how practical they were, but again, we're not doing practical. I don't think it was even called a tailcoat. Oh yeah, oh, I know it's for girls, but we can probably make it work. I don't know what it was called. Was it just like I swear it existed. It looked like this, but it wasn't split. Oh well. Just know that they existed. You know what? Let me try one thing. It existed. And I'm playing a dangerous game by typing in 18th century because it is going to bring me up 99 bajillion results that I did not ask for. See it? Or maybe it just, or maybe it was split and it just didn't look like it. That could be it. I could just be tripping. Or again, just make the furniture bow to your will. Just straight up have seats that are built like this. Seats with backs that are built like this. If not just outright stools, but stools would be uncomfortable. Just have like a seat that's etched out like this. So that way it allows the single tails. The furniture will bow. We will assert dominance over all of our furniture. And maybe some extra tassel strands. I just realized also roosters! I forgot about roosters! Okay, hang on. So this is like a... Should I write this down? I don't know what that other bird was. So that's like a pheasant. That's like a red macaw. I don't know what a pirate comes to mind. I can imagine like a pirate sneaking into a ball, flexing on everybody before robbing them blind. I completely forgot about roosters. I love rooster feathers. And they actually shed this. I read it in a former book. I think they actually straight up shed their tails until like my sorry, like iridescent. Oh, and then this gets that beautiful red, that russet red. Oh, I love metallic iridescent colors. I love it so much. It could basically be like the Rapunzels of the Bird King, because I know some of them, like in Japan, I think it could be the Japanese inspired tailcoat. Because I know like there's this one breed of rooster, or maybe it was just that one rooster that with a growth problem that had like a ridiculously long rooster, ridiculously long feathers on his tail. I mean, look at how it. Just look at it. It's just elegant. Yeah, it was. Also, it is a breed. Onagadori. Yeah, that's just Rapunzel. So we're gonna make like a Japanese inspired Rapunzel. Japanese. And knowing how obsessed I think the 1700s were also obsessed, but I know the Victorians were absolute weeaboos about Japanese fashion. So I'm sure we could make like a, because they already did their own crossover with Japanese fashion, I think. Like the bathrobes mimic kimonos. They had Japanese patterns in their outfits. Syncretism. That's your new word today. Uh, and I spelled Japanese wrong. I know they were insane about it. Ain't nothing familiar. I just saw something. And of course, all because I saw it, it is now gone the way of the ether. Oh, there it is. That looks like Junichi Nakahara somewhere. Anyway, okay, we're just gonna have to. Okay, all right. It's gonna be a challenge. We're gonna combine the Onigiri rooster with Japanese men with Victoria waistcoat. Pray for me, people. Yeah, the Victorians were like obsessed with the Japanese to the point where they had this like funny operetta by Gilbert and Sullivan, who I love. It was actually making fun of the British while under the guise of Japanese because again they were obsessed, and they were so afraid of offending the Japanese that they like low key banned it, and especially like in 1907 when the Emperor of Japan himself wanted to came to the UK, and they were like, okay, everybody stop the Mikado. We're not playing it while he's here. We're not going to offend him. And it kind of it backfired because he was disappointed because he wanted to see the Mikado. And so they actually got together a stage production for him on demand to play it. And then it backfired again. Good, it was good because I think that to paraphrase the newspaper article, it said we came here expecting to be offended and all that, and all we found was like good jokes and great music. And to this day, I think it's one of the most popular, well-respected productions. So like, it goes to show you don't speak for other people sometimes. It might backfire. How? I definitely know we could like do the crossover with the. Wait, we could turn a waistcoat with that. Maybe we could do it again. Because I'm going to see if I can mimic the layering of maybe make an undershirt with the layering and maybe with a collar, just slap a collar on it. And do that. So like the crisscrossness of the kimono. Of course, add some nice lapels. Let's see. Of course, they seem to suffer the same problem we do, of where you type in a specific thing and it gives you all the costumes. That's not, possibly not historically accurate and it's coming from movies. And that's Hanfu, that's not even Japanese, I think. That's like Chinese. Gosh darn it, movies! And I know Pinterest is to blame. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna have to. Well, shoot, if they can play that game, so can we. Oh no, the chicken. Oh my! Oh, I almost spelled it correctly. Oh, look at it. Oh, that is gorgeous. Okay, so maybe we could do like a slashing pattern. Because I think the Japanese aesthetic with kimonos focus more on simplicity, ironically. Like, I think historically, they focus more on layered clothes than like the ornateness of the Chinese, so they went more simplistic with their patterns and all that, mostly geometric designs and all that, something like this. So maybe we could go that direction. Like, okay, so I'm gonna make this waistline a little more open and lower, so that way we could show off the waistcoat. Like maybe if this we could get away with a subtle pattern. on a solid color. Like all of, like, instead of just like if this was black on black, and you could still see the pattern, but it would be subtler, like black on black. Stuff like that. Like I would like speaking like Victorian wise, this would most likely be like the waistcoat instead of the actual garment itself. Maybe we could, but I would reserve that personally for the waistcoat in this design. But yeah, I would also have like a slash motion for that because, like I said, this one, I imagine the beauty of it would be like the build versus the patterns and the embroidery and all of that. Okay. Oh, no. And I just realized I'm not backing up any layers. Normally, I would be saving after like almost every slash because I hate it. Okay. Now, what we could is cheat a little bit because I want to show off the obi. I think that's what it's called, the obi. This. So we're gonna go backwards a little bit and go to the and steal a page out of the Regency Men fashion. Cause see how they actually have like the waist and it's like high cut, so you can see like the top of the pants. So it might actually behoove us to go to like the Regency era. So we're gonna make that kind of cut. So we're gonna have the crossover openness look of the kimono. Like I imagine the button would basically be on the side, so to take that so I could have that crisscross look. It'd be like closer to the side, so I could have that crisscross look. And the high waistness would allow like an obi or an obi style belt to be shown. And, you know, it could be like whatever fabric, whatever. So like the high waistness. And ironically, I think that would help because it would probably make them look like a chicken pants. And then they come with boots. Well, no, you wouldn't wear a boot. But I like the look of the boots. Okay, we just have to wear like no, just stockings and ballet flats, basically. Because yes, men wore ballet style flats with bows on them at some point. And now the tailcoat itself, and I think this is going to end the first video for now because I have no idea how long I've been recording. Probably longer than I should, but I was actually having fun. And this. Now, how are we going to do this? Now, there could be... Okay, let's experiment before we tag it on. It could just be a long, thin base. Like an actual base. Like a long, thin, actual base. And we just copy the same method we have, like braiding, just like tassels. We basically turn it into one giant tassel, but that might be too heavy. And you don't, and you need, and I would recommend having a base because if we just let it all be tasseled, then it'll be like a mess everywhere and it'll be difficult to maneuver. So I think the base is important. And using wire would also be too heavy. Tassels might be the best option. Because honestly, these chickens look like they would have a difficult time walking either. If you try to copy them, it's gonna be a bad time. What else? What other way? Or it could be just like a type of rope. It would give you more maneuverability. Because I feel like this fabric can only move as so much. And when you have all this on it, so like a type of braid or rope. Maybe it could have like a hollow tube, like a flexible hollow tube, so that way it could, so whatever this is, it could be lightweight, flexible but lightweight, and then you could just like weave the strands inside, so that way it'd be part of it. You don't have to worry about them coming out, because I imagine if this was like embroidered or something, they still have the risk of it coming out. But if you just like weave it in there, it'd be more integrated. Yes. And then it have that like hair look. And it'd probably be seen as very exotic and like ingenious to the other people who like relied on like the base coats, the base stuff for the most part. And I imagine there'd be like little to no need to embellish it, because this alone would like catch attention. I imagine it'd be like some kind of like maybe borrowing from like the regular farm files. It'd probably be iridescent or like shiny metallic, some kind of feathers like that. Instead of relying on like exuberant gems and all that, it would try to be more subtle. Yeah, like this kimono waistcoat, kimono waistcoat. So like pretty much the exuberance will be limited to the waistcoat and the obi style belt and the tail itself and everything. Everything else will probably be like solid colors, probably shiny, but like subtle. Like I imagine subtlety with this kind of outfit. You still know the guy has money, because whatever engineering it took to make the tail on the tailcoat would still go out the wazoo, but it would be more limited. It would not be like European basically. But not saying that the Japanese don't have exuberant stuff on their own. I imagine they do, but I'm just saying it will probably be more limited. Like maybe they might have like some kind of, I don't know, maybe some kind of flowers or two to mimic like, but like asymmetrical. So like maybe it will start there and then it will just like here, just to break it up a little bit, add just a little flash of color. I don't know, but that's what I got so far. So we went all over the place in this video. I apologize if y'all couldn't keep up or if you fell asleep, but this is what I got. So we got. So let's step back a little bit. So we didn't start with him blue now. So we got like an ocean theme tailcoat over here, like a spread bridge one here, curlies, and we started messing with the tassels. Triple 3-piece tailcoat. Over here we had the quote unquote bib look. Get out. And again with the split, but like not too much of a tailcoat. We got this exuberant peacock looking one. And we got this dragging curly one with gems on the tips. This scallop looking one that's probably not even a tailcoat. This ridiculously wide one. And then the bendable wire one. And furniture bending to our will. And then we went over here with Birds of Paradise. Got this geometric looking one that mimics a single one when at rest. We got, again, the bendable wire one again. Mimic the swan neck with an ascot cravat, whatever that is. The single layered tailcoat. And again, a chair just for it. Fake feathers and Japanese syncretism. So this was fun. This was fun. I hope y'all, whoever's watching this, has fun too. We even kind of played around with the hairpiece a little bit, but yeah, I just, again, this is my first video ever. I have no idea. I just hope my voice was recorded. I hope I was loud enough. But I just hope that everybody had fun. I had fun. It was fun. It was fun just ranting a little bit, and we got some new ideas. I gotta fill up this space later. So yeah, feel free to do something with the knowledge that I've imparted with you. Just tell your friends about this video, and that's all for now. Bye.